Hi everyone, I'm so excited to be here today. And today we will be talking about why you might be attracting the wrong relationships, why you might be attracting emotionally unavailable partners. I'll wait for 2 minutes before we get started. If you can see me and hear me, leave some comments below, but we'll get started right away in about 2 minutes. If you're joining me right now, let me know from where are you joining me. And yeah, I'm so excited to be here, honestly. If you have attended my one of my trainings before, also let me know. Super excited to be here. Can't wait to see your comments. This is a private group, so everything we talk about will stay inside this group. It's private. No one outside of this group can see your comments or read them. So yeah, so happy to be here today. I'll wait a few more minutes and then we'll get started. Okay. If you can hear me and see me, let me know in the comments as you join. Let me know in the comments. I'm just checking comments. Okay. Let me know from where are you joining me. And yeah, so happy to be here. Okay, a few more minutes. Yeah, I'm very excited, honestly, to be here today. And I think it will be one of the greatest master classes. And yeah, can't wait to support you all throughout healing, loving yourself, and more. I'm going to share my slides. I still can't see any comments. Hopefully, I'm live. Okay. All right, so if you can see me and hear me, let me know, and let me know from where are you joining me today. So as you know, today we will be talking about why you might be attracting the wrong relationships. We will be talking about the reasons to why you attract emotionally unavailable partners and how to fix it, how to move forward, how to attract your dream relationship and more. Like I mentioned, this is a private group for you. No one will read your comments outside of this group. Let me know if you can see me and hear me. I would love to know from where are you joining me as well. I'm so excited to be here today. Okay, let's get started. So today we will be talking about why you might be attracting emotionally unavailable men and how to fix it. During this masterclass, you will learn about why you keep attracting emotionally unavailable partners, how your low self-worth is affecting your relationships, how to overcome past relationships and gain a higher level of self-confidence, how to become an attraction magnet for your dream relationship, and also we'll be talking about the secret to attracting a high quality and lasting relationship. Thank you all for joining. I can see a few comments, so that's amazing. What I'm gonna ask you to do is to give yourself the opportunity to be present in the here and now, to give yourself the opportunity to finally give this time to yourself to truly heal. Give yourself the time to step away from everything around you, leave your phone away and just actually take notes and focus on your healing. The information that I will share with you today, you will never find it anywhere else. And what I want to do today is actually support you finally heal and move forward. I don't want you to be stuck anymore. I don't want you to attract the wrong relationships anymore. And if you're here today with me, let me know in the comments. Which one are you? Let me know in the comments. Are you number one, you feel that you have lost your confidence and you're struggling with the wounded inner child? So the wounded inner child is basically past traumas from childhood. It can be from teenage years. It can be from adulthood. So let me know in the comments. Which one are you? Just say in the comments whether you're watching this live or later as a replay. Are you number one? Do you feel that you have lost your confidence and you're struggling with the wounded inner child? Or maybe you're number two. You want to stop attracting toxic partners or chasing emotionally unavailable men. Or maybe you're number three. You're ready to date, but you don't know how to attract a healthy and a committed relationship. Or maybe you're number four, you're successful in every area of your life except relationships. Let me know in the comments. Which one are you? Whether you're watching this live or you're gonna watch it later as a replay. I would love to know which one are you. You can be more than one. So you can be like, for example, 1 and 2, 1 and 3. I just want to see where you're at with healing, with, becoming the best version of yourself, loving yourself, and being in your dream relationship. Because our relationships actually considered a reflection of us. And what I mean considered as a reflection of us, it's the same way that you think about yourself. The same way you attract the relationships you think of. It has a lot to do with your mindset. So let me know in the comments, which one are you? Whether you're watching this live with me right now or later on as a replay. You could be number one, you could be number two, you could be number three or number four. And whatever your reason is, I truly want to support you. I truly want to be there for you to actually finally heal, to finally become the best version of yourself, to feel confidence from within. I want you to feel confident from within, and I want you to heal anything that's holding you back. Let me tell you a bit about myself. So, as you know, my name is Sama. I'm a registered counselor, a relationship coach, and an inner child coach. And what I do is support my client throughout their healing, loving themselves, and not settling for less. And with me, I struggled the most with my wounded inner child, attracting emotionally unavailable relationships, settling for less, and not having enough self-worth and enough self-value. I kept attracting the wrong relationships to the point where I lost my identity. I became codependent. Let me know in the comments if you can relate to this. Let me know in the comments if you attracted relationships to the point where you feel that you have lost your identity, or maybe you blamed yourself deep down for a relationship not going well. You blamed yourself for different things. Let me know in the comments whether you're watching this right now or later on as a replay, if you can resonate with this. And one day I told myself, enough is enough. And I went on a mission to learn everything about relationships, about stopping the cycle of attracting the wrong relationships, attracting emotionally unavailable partners, settling. And on that mission, I learned you actually have to heal from within. You have to have the right mindset. You have to have that level of energy to understand more about standards, boundaries, and other things, which I'm going to teach you about today. I even went to therapy and I realized I wasn't going anywhere. Have you ever been through the same situation as me? Are you maybe deep down sick of attracting the wrong relationships and settling? Let me know in the comments. If you're just joining right now, just say hi. Just say hi. That's it. So I know you're here, so I can keep you accountable through your healing. So, like I mentioned, I went therapy. I thought I was the issue. Hi. So lovely to see some comments. So I thought I was the issue. I had to learn more and more about myself, about who I was as a person, and I realized, therapy alone doesn't get you where you want to be. You need tools and skills. And this is exactly what I'm going to do today, what I'm going to support you with today. And one day I said enough is enough. I learned everything I needed. I attracted my dream relationship. I'm married with the love of my life, and you can do the same once you have the skills and the tools. And today, as you know, we're going to talk about why you might be attracting emotionally unavailable partners. Let me know in the comments if you keep what type of relationships you attract. Let me know in the comments. I want to read some comments so I can keep you accountable, so I can give you the support that you need today through this free masterclass. I'll wait a few seconds. What type of relationships do you attract? Let me know in the comments. Emotionally unavailable. Maybe you feel like you do more than you're supposed to. Maybe toxic relationships. Let me know in the comments. What type of relationships do you attract? And one of the reasons why women attract emotionally unavailable partners is because we're carrying unhealed emotional abandonment wound ourselves. So we're carrying this emotional abandonment wound. Have you heard about this before? Let me know in the comments. So we attract emotionally unavailable partners because our subconscious mind is actually seeking to recreate the familiar. So your subconscious mind will always want to create what's familiar to you. Let's say your parents were emotionally unavailable, they didn't talk about emotions, they didn't talk about feelings, they were, they looked down on you and other things. You might be attracting the wrong relationships because you're technically creating what's familiar for you. You're creating what you think is familiar. Your mind will always choose familiar over something you don't know. Your mind is trained to choose familiar because that's when your inner child feels safe. Can you relate to this? Does it make sense to you? Let me know in the comments. And when it comes to relationships, it seeks to recreate a dynamic that feels like the relationships or the relationship you had with your parents as an infant or a younger child, or even sometimes a relationship you had in high school, or even going through breakups. Your brain seeks to create the same relationship to solve issues or unresolved issues from this relationship, this original relationship, if that makes sense. Let me know in the comments if it's making sense to you. Your brain chooses this to resolve something that the original relationship caused you. And what I was gonna continue with that and say, if we had an emotionally unavailable parenting figure, we will often find ourselves being unconsciously drawn to partners who feel similar, who look similar, who act similar. They're and often they will be emotionally unavailable. So write this down, ladies, whether you're watching this now or later as a replay. Feel free to write this down. The inner child who is carrying the emotional abandonment wound is seeking to fix the original relationship where they were emotionally abandoned by choosing emotionally unavailable romantic partners in hope that they will be different this time. It's like, I want to solve the issue with my parents, so I'm going to attract someone who is emotionally unavailable, doesn't talk about their feelings, where they don't appreciate me as much, similar to the relationship, for example, I had with my mom. And and that and this, of course, all happening on a subconscious level. Does it make sense, ladies? Just type yes in the chat. No one will read your comments outside of these groups. Just say yes, it makes sense somehow. If it doesn't make sense, let me know so I can expand on this. I'll wait for a few seconds for comments before continuing. And how do you know if, how do you understand this further? So think about this. Everything is energy, including our unhealed wounds, and they're highly magnetic. Our unhealed abandonment wounds are seeking a connection or a connection match. So basically, unhealed abandonment wounds, they want to find this abandonment wound from within another person. And often that's why we attract emotionally unavailable relationships. So you're seeking the same level of energy, you're seeking a wound within another person so you can connect with them. And in return, what your inner child is trying to do is actually resolve the original relationship that you had with a family member or your parents. And that's why you attract emotionally unavailable partners. Let me know in the comments if it's making sense to you. If not, I can expand on this. And how do you know it's affecting you? Let me know in the comments if you have any of the signs I'm going to mention. You feel unworthy of love, you feel that you're not good enough for a partner, you compare yourself to others, you feel that you have lost your sense of identity. You need to work hard to feel worthy. You have difficulty making your own choices. You always need validations from others. You always need to give to feel good. Let me know in the comments. You might be codependent in the relationship. Let me know if you have any of the signs that I have just mentioned. Because this is an indication that you're struggling with a wounded inner child that's seeking resolution through attracting emotionally unavailable partners. And the second reason that I want to talk about that I didn't realize throughout my healing, that the second reason to why you might be attracting emotionally unavailable partners, because we are emotionally unavailable ourselves. Have you ever noticed that you might not be available yourself? You might be fearing commitment. You might not be able to express your feelings. Let me know in the comments. Along with the inner child seeking revenge or recreating the same original relationship you had with your parents, the second reason you could be emotionally unavailable yourself due to traumas from the past, due to going through breakups, due to going through traumas, being excluded, So your inner child or your traumatic mind decided that they can build walls. Do you build walls, ladies? Do you have, do you feel like you have barriers and walls to the point where you might be detached from your reality and your inner child could be running the show for you? And like I mentioned, another reason to why you might be attracting emotionally unavailable partners is because you may not be open with your own emotions. Maybe you have difficulty being vulnerable. And if you struggle with self esteem, shyness, or feeling not good enough, you may find it difficult um, to be your authentic self and be vulnerable in a relationship, and you choose to build layers or barriers to protect yourself from getting hurt. You could go into a relationship and you're already thinking, wait a minute, this is not gonna work. So you're already building a case against yourself. Have you struggled with this, ladies? Let me know in the comments if you have. Have you struggled with this before? Do you feel like you could be emotionally unavailable yourself? There's no shame. This is your time to grow. And sharing is healing. I always say that. So it could also be that you have your heart broken too many times, and the vulnerability of love makes you hold back. You find that it's intimidating to even date someone who's emotionally available. Write this down, ladies. You might even struggle with dating someone who is emotionally available because you find it intimidating. Let me know in the comments if that makes sense to you and if you can relate to this. Because it feels risky. Why are they emotionally available? I need to run away from them, and most likely you wouldn't attract them because your abandonment wound is seeking another abandonment wound by attracting the wrong relationships. And most likely, when you went through breakups, you developed an abandonment wound. It doesn't have to do with your childhood. It's not always the childhood. Sometimes going through many breakups can cause an abandonment wound that's very deep, and it could hurt you so much to the point where you develop layers and barriers, and you don't even want to connect with anyone. And if someone is emotionally available, you will find it like a risk for yourself. And how do you know if you're not emotionally available yourself? You struggle to communicate your needs. You're scared of relationships and commitments. You always think your partner will leave. You try to find faults so you don't connect. You tend to self sabotage. You think relationships are hard work. Let me know in the comments if you actually have any of the signs that I have mentioned. I would be interested to know because I struggled with all these signs. I was emotionally unavailable myself, along with my wounded inner child. So, like we mentioned, you have the wounded inner child seeking resolution from the relationship you had with your parents, and you could be, you could be struggling with past traumas. That's you been holding from previous relationship, that's affecting you until today. And this is how you know if you're holding the traumas from past relationships. You could be emotionally unavailable yourself. Let me know in the comments if you have any of the signs. And with that being said, feel free to write this down. You subconsciously feel commitment without you being aware, but on a subconscious level, you could be feeling commitment. Let me know in the comments if you think you could be struggling with this. We often attract the energy we put out there. If you fear commitment, it's possible that you're not intentionally attracting others who have the same mindset. So you're on a subconscious level because, like I said, everything is energy. And on a subconscious level, you could be attracting people who are not ready to be in a relationship or want anything serious because you fear commitment. You fear being married, maybe you fear going into another relationship, you fear introducing someone to your family again or introducing someone to your kid. So you have a lot of subconscious fears along with traumas from the breakup, traumas from your relationship with your parents, and holding and having this wounded inner child within you. Any any questions about this? Does it make sense, ladies? Let me know in the comments. And also another reason why women attract emotionally unavailable partners because you are a fixer. I was a fixer. Are you a fixer? Let me know in the comments. Do you think you try to fix everything and anything? Let me know in the comments. So, with that being said, do you attract emotionally unavailable partners who seem to need healing or broken or have a lot of issues and financial situations and traumas from the past, not sure about their identity? Do you tend to attract relationships like this? If you're a sensitive soul, or if you come from a history of wounded inner child because your caregivers didn't give you that attention and love that you needed, where you became codependent, you may be attracted to the habit of helping. And why? Because this is how you feel good about yourself. You're not alone. I can see some comments about people commenting that they are fixers. You're not alone. You fix because that's how you might feel good about yourself on a subconscious level. And this can be a toxic cycle leading to unhealthy or even abusive relationships that leave you feeling unfulfilled and out of balance. You're likely to give more than get out of the relationship. And when you become the fixer in a relationship, what happens to you? What do you think happens to you? What do you think will happen to you if you become the fixer in the relationship? You basically, it causes you an unhealthy level of becoming codependent. When you start solving people's issues or problems for them, or even just feeling responsible for the emotional balance in the relationship, will create an unhealthy sense of dependency and usually lack of respect, and we create false guilt. You have this false guilt. Have you heard about false guilt before? So you have this false guilt from within that's causing you to do more or fix their issues because you feel responsible. But what do you think you're responsible for, ladies? You're only responsible for your own emotions and feelings, nothing else. I hope it's making sense. And with that being said, the fourth reason, of course, there's many reasons, but the main ones, like I said, the wounded inner child, maybe your parents didn't make you feel emotionally, didn't provide you with the emotional support, you didn't talk about your feelings, they were emotionally unavailable, and you're seeking to resolve this relationship by attracting emotionally unavailable partners so your inner child can say, hey, I can fix this. I'm fixing the original relationship I had with my caregiver. Or the second reason, like I mentioned, is the traumas from the past, along with you being emotionally unavailable yourself and feeling commitment on a subconscious level. And the third reason we said it was the fixer. And the fourth, of course, there's more to this. um, Another reason why women attract emotionally unavailable partners because you don't believe you deserve love. And of course, that's happening on a subconscious level for you. Another reason why you are attracted to emotionally unavailable men is because your willingness to settle for less. You believe that your partner is what you deserve, but you're actually wrong, ladies, because you attract what you think you're worth, not the other way around. You attract what you think your worth is, not the other way around. And you feel on a subconscious level attracted to emotionally unavailable person because somewhere in your mind and your heart, you understand them and you resonate with them because you think I lower my standards, I lower what I want, and that's when they don't leave me, and that comes to a wounded inner child that's created through childhood or even growing up and going through many breakups. And that feeling of not feeling good enough becomes internalized within your mind. And feel free to write this down, ladies. Knowing your worth is the answer to attracting healthy relationships, the answer to loving yourself, and never settling for less. So, knowing your worth is the answer to attracting healthy relationships. Feel free to write this down, ladies. And you may say, Summer, how can I stop the cycle? How can I stop this cycle of attracting emotionally unavailable partners? Who's ready to stop the cycle or to break the cycle? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments if you're ready to break this cycle. Just drinking some water. Let me know in the comments if you're ready to break this cycle, because there's a few things that you need to do. The first thing is to resolve anything that has to do with the wounded inner child or abandonment wounds, where you maybe, even though your parents were there physically, but emotionally didn't connect with you. So you're holding an abandonment wound and attracting the wrong relationships. So the inner child who's carrying the emotional abandonment wound is seeking to fix the original relationship where you were emotionally abandoned by choosing emotionally unavailable romantic partners in the hope things will be different and to prove themselves in a way, yes, I'm fixing both relationships, and that's happening on subconscious level. And in order to heal this issue, the first thing you need to do is to know your inner child. How well do you know your inner child? How well do you even think about your inner child that's holding all your subconscious traumas? How well do you know your inner child? Get to know your inner child. Visualize your inner child. Get to know them. And then start healing from traumatic memories that your inner child felt. Reparent them. Be there for them. Acknowledge they exist. You have an inner child. I have an inner child. We all have inner children that are still alive within us. How well do you know your inner child? Get to know them, start revisiting traumatic memories, and work on having a secure attachment style. And the first step towards knowing, of course, you need to know your attachment style. You could be anxious. You could have anxious attachment style. You could actually have avoidant attachment style. You could have both. And the key is to work towards having a secure attachment style. And you could do this by starting to realize what needs haven't been met through your relationships, through your childhood, through high school, and get to know why you developed this type of attachment, and then start working on having a secure attachment style. One of the keys towards having a secure attachment style is the ability to externalize worries rather than internalize worries. Can you relate to this? What's your attachment style? Let me know in the comments. Have you ever got to know your inner child? Have you ever got to know what's your attachment style? And also, it's really important to start knowing your worth. So, a lot of people confuse self worth with self esteem. Self worth is an internal feeling of knowing your value, knowing who you are, trusting yourself, trusting your inner child. While self esteem is more about the external, where if you have a low level of self esteem, you could be comparing yourself to others. And this is how you know you have a low self esteem. So let's start. Let's define what's self worth. Let me know in the comments. How do you define self worth? What's the definition of self worth? For me, it's about valuing myself. It's about knowing my worth. It's about trusting myself and my inner child. What about you? What does it mean to have a high level of self worth? Because I know if you don't have enough self worth, you struggle in relationships, you attract the wrong relationships. If you tend to think, oh, I'm going to lower my standards and fix it, then that's a sign that you're lacking self worth. Let me know in the comments. Do you know what self worth is? How do you define it? And the next step is for you to get to know yourself. How well do you know yourself out of 10? Who are you outside of your job? Who are you outside of your family? Do you have negative thoughts? Then the start to having a higher level of self-worth is challenging and reframing your negative thoughts. Instead of telling yourself I'm not good enough, start telling yourself I'm worthy enough, I'm good enough, and find evidence to confirm this, to prove to your inner child they're worthy, they're loved, they're understood. Does that make sense? And when one of my clients, Randa, started working with me, she didn't understand how her childhood has affected her relationships. She thought she had an okay childhood. Dad used to work, mom used to be home, and she didn't realize that until she started working and doing the inner work with me, where we realized her dad was emotionally unavailable, which led her to attracting the wrong relationships, settling, and she was on a subconscious level trying to resolve the relationship she had with her dad. And through working with me and through the therapy I do, which is completely different to any therapist because I give you skills and tools, she was able to attract her dream relationship, gain her self worth, have a strategy, and know exactly she's worthy for existing. And of course, we spoke about the inner child, we spoke about self worth, and the third thing you need to work on is boundaries and standards. How do you define boundaries? How do you define standards? Have you ever thought about boundaries? Many people say, yes, I know what boundaries is. Until we work together and realize they don't understand that boundaries are all about what you accept and not accept, what you will tolerate and not tolerate, which are different to standards. Standards are rules. And if and many people think boundaries are all only for people around me. No, boundaries, they start with you. You need boundaries for yourself before you establish boundaries with others. You need boundaries for yourself. Write this down before you have boundaries with others. And how can you stop attracting the wrong relationships? Of course, by healing your traumas, healing your inner child, having enough self worth, and developing your boundaries. By having boundaries and standards, you will remove toxic people. First, because you're keeping yourself accountable. Second, emotionally unavailable guys or toxic guys cannot stand boundaries. They will show you their true colors right away. Like I said, emotionally unavailable partners cannot accept boundaries and they will show you their true colors fast. Toxic people or emotionally unavailable partners can't be with someone who has boundaries. Let me know in the comments if you can relate to this. Have you ever thought about boundaries in that way? Let me know if you're struggling with any of the signs I'm going to mention, because this is an indication you're struggling with boundaries. So you struggle to say no, you try to save the relationship, you settle for less, you stay for long in toxic relationships. You don't speak up when you're treated badly, you give away too much of your time and energy. Can you let me know if you have any of the signs that I just mentioned about lacking boundaries? If you do, you're not alone. I struggled with all the signs about self-worth, about wounded inner child, about abandonment, codependency, and I know how it feels, and you're not alone. You're not alone. So your rights in a relationship, you have the right to be respected, always, to be in a healthy relationship, to not be abused physically, sexually, or emotionally, to have friends and activities apart from your romantic partner, to express yourself honestly, to say no, to feel safe in a relationship, to be treated as an equal, to feel comfortable being yourself and being able to set limits, to leave or stay in a relationship. Feel free to write this down, ladies. Sticking to your boundaries will prevent you from being taken advantage of or falling into toxic relationships. And here's one thing you could do today. You can start by establishing boundaries for yourself. What will you accept and not accept? Type it in the chat so I can keep you accountable to committing to this boundary. Are you going to accept settling for less with emotionally unavailable partners? Are you going to have a boundary to yourself that you're not going to be the fixer anymore? What boundaries are you going to have for yourself, ladies? Let me know in the comments. Are you going to have a boundary about not seeking, being aware of your thought cycle, maybe making your inner child part of your life so you can heal the traumas faster? Let me know in the comments. What boundary do you establish for yourself? A boundary I would establish for myself, if I was dating right now, would be run away from seeing the first red flag, try not to fix. If he's emotionally unavailable, it's not your responsibility. That's a boundary I would set for myself. What about you, ladies? What boundaries do you want to set for yourself? Let me know in the comments. I will be reading every comment. And then after that, it's all cool and nice to establish boundaries, but you need to be able to stick to your boundaries and take actions. If someone doesn't respect my boundaries, for example, I will reinforce my boundary. I will make them aware about my feelings. I will use the I language instead of the you language, and I will take actions. I wouldn't stay long in a friendship or a relationship that's not making me feel happy. That's a boundary I'm setting for myself, and I will follow it and keep myself accountable because I take my healing seriously. I value my time. I know my worth, and I know I don't want my inner child to struggle anymore. And like I said, make a plan about what you would do if someone crosses your boundaries. For example, reinforce your boundary. Be clear and tell them how it made you feel. Use the I language instead of the you language. Be clear with yourself about the treatment that you will accept and not accept. And decide to limit or cut contact. You're in control. You have a choice. Don't feel like you don't have a choice. You have a choice every single day. And working with Ginger, who is in her dream relationship today, she didn't know how to set boundaries. She didn't know how to identify red flags. Because if you don't have an identity, you basically don't have boundaries. So boundaries are part of your identity. And that's why it's important to start setting boundaries. And working with me, she has developed healthy boundaries for herself first and for others, which led her to attract her dream relationship along with healing past traumas and knowing exactly how to attract her dream relationship. And you can do the same, ladies. That's why I'm sharing with you the stories, because I know you can do the same. And once you master healing your traumas, connecting with your inner child, you will, and also having the right mindset, you will never settle for less. You will know how to attract a high quality man. You will date with confidence. You will never fall into toxic or emotionally unavailable relationships anymore. And of course, we spoke about a few things today. We spoke about the inner child, self-worth, past traumas. You could be unavailable yourself, lack of boundaries, being a fixer. But there's more, ladies, to attracting your dream relationship. This is just the start. There's more that therapy. I'm a therapist myself, but I know therapists wouldn't have a structure for you and wouldn't know how to guide you to attracting your dream relationship. There's more. I see someone doing a boundary thing. Okay, I love this. I would never let anyone disrespect me. I love this. But like I said, ladies, this is just the start. With inner child work, trauma, knowing whether you're available or not, knowing whether you're a fixer or not. This is just the start. There's more to this. There's mindsets, having the right mindset to attract your dream relationship. You could have all the skills and tools. If you don't have the right mindset, you can't attract your dream relationship because you're focusing on the negative. There is more about the inner child work. Of course, this is nothing. Really, there's more. There is also feminine and masculine energies and the law of polarity. I'm not sure if you heard about this before. So when it comes to attracting your dream relationship, you need to understand whether you have more masculine energy or feminine energy. And if you have more masculine energy, doing energy, which is nothing against masculine energy, you need masculine energy at work, you need masculine energy at different areas of your life. But when it comes to your relationships, if you're masculine and you want to attract a high quality guy who's driven, who's available, who's there, and you're masculine yourself, you're going to repel him instead of attract him. And instead, you attract guys who are emotionally unavailable or more feminine in their nature because you're more masculine, you're more driven, you're doing things. And again, that comes down to the fixer aspects of traumas and healing. And with that being said, you need to be able to connect more to your feminine energy, which we don't have time to talk about today, but there's feminine energy that you need more work on, inner child work, and there's also a strategy about dating. You mentioned your expectations early on. What's the question to ask without wasting your time? How can you know whether he's emotionally available or not within the first 5 minutes? What's the strategy to go more on dates? What's the most effective strategy? There's more to that to understanding the psychology behind the mindset of a man. And there's more to this. Like I said, mindset is really important. You could have all the skills and if you still deep down believe you're not worthy and you can't attract a dream relationship, then we need to do mindset work, because you attract what you focus on, not the other way around. And it comes down to the law of attraction as well. If you heard about this, there's the law of polarity about masculine and feminine energies, and there's more to the strategy and knowing exactly how to attract high quality dates, knowing the differences, the difference between discovery stage, knowing the difference between exclusively dating, being in a relationship, how not to waste your time. And it's about knowing exactly that there's more to this than you think. It's not just, resolve the issue from, past traumas, and that's completely fine. It's not just about healing from past relationships or being a fixer. There's more to this. And today, you have two choices. You can keep doing what you have been doing and run into the risk of attracting the wrong relationships, getting stuck and not having enough self-worth, and giving a chance to someone who's emotionally unavailable, which can lead you to even lose your identity more and more. Or you can join the Relationships Healing Academy to rebuild your confidence, to heal your inner child, to have boundaries, to attract your dream relationship, and more. And this is my signature program that goes whether you want it for 6 months, where we meet 2 times a week, or you want it for 3 months and we meet weekly. And this is for someone who is sick of attracting emotionally unavailable partners and settling. This is for someone who is ready to heal first and know the skills and the tools they need to attract their dream relationship. Who wants to know more about my formula that will lead you to become an attraction magnet by staying connected to your feminine energy, like not accepting last minute dates, being clear about your expectations, knowing what to ask, knowing how to attract him into your life, and having the right mindset and treating yourself like a queen. That's what I mean by the attraction magnet. Who wants to know more about my formula? Because the Relationships Healing Academy is open to empower you, to give you the support that you will never find anywhere else. This is all-in-one program. This is all-in-one to support you heal and be in your dream relationship. You will have skills and tools. Will set your strategy. You will connect your feminine energy. You will understand the male psychology. You will understand the commitment timeline. How does that sound, ladies? Let me know in the comments if you're ready to know more, to heal, to connect with yourself. And this is what's included. You will get 10 training modules, you get worksheets, you get unlimited support, verse messages, and you will get personalized one-to-one sessions with me, which are in demand, of course. You're invited, and I want to hold your hand throughout this journey. You actually deserve to have support. You're an investment. Start treating yourself like an investment. And there's no better investment than investing in knowing yourself, having the skills and the tools, and healing truly. Before even thinking about going into your dream relationship, this is about you healing. This is all in one program. Imagine in 10 weeks or 12 weeks, you will, or maybe you want to do it over 6 months period, you will feel confident in yourself. Just imagine changing your approach from do they like me to do I like them. Just imagine having standards and boundaries in place. Just imagine being an attraction magnet to high quality men. And here's what we will work together. Self-worth, toxic shame, and wounded inner child. Toxic shame is different than normal shame. Toxic shame is about not feeling good enough, not feeling worthy enough. And then the second theme is self-confidence and attachment style. Then we will talk about boundaries in dating and relationships. Then we'll talk about the clarity. Because if you don't have the clarity about what type of relationship you want in your life, you will keep settling for less, because this is similar to you going to a grocery store. You don't know what you want to cook, and you grab an item and you leave with things you might not need or might have at home, but you didn't realize. This is similar to your relationship. If you don't have the clarity, you will settle for less. And then we'll talk about standards in relationships, and we'll talk about online dating and the strategy that you need. Also, there's in-person dating as well that we talk about as well. If you don't like online, we talk about masculine and feminine. Then we talk about how to attract a high quality man. We're going to talk about first date and commitment timeline. And lastly, we'll talk about the law of attraction and the male psychology. How does that sound? However, you have to apply to work with me this time, okay? Because this is my one-to-one intensive program. I'm not gonna, I'm gonna be honest, and you have to really apply to work with me. because I'm very honest, and if it's not a right fit, I'm going to be honest with you. So please don't get disappointed if I tell you might not be a good fit, because at the end of the day, I'm honest, and I will only work who I think might be a good fit for this program. I focus on quality over anything. I focus on making a difference over anything. I'm gonna re- I'm gonna be really honest and tell you. However, you have to apply to work with me, and we'll book a Zoom call to see if you're a good fit. I'm only accepting 2 new clients. I'm fully booked this month, but I might, I'm gonna have 2 spots for 2 new clients. That's it for next month. But you have to be a good fit. If I feel like you haven't healed enough and you're still struggling, I'm gonna be honest with you and be like, maybe that's not the right program for you, because I value honesty. And if I can't make a difference in your life, I don't think, I will be happy with myself, because my values will include making a difference in my clients' work. I mean, life, work, different aspects. And yeah, so like I said, this is my private coaching. So I'm very, honest, and I want to see if it's a good fit. And like I said, I'm not accepting a lot of people, only accepting 2. And if you're ready to start the new years with the new skills and new tools that you can use to not just attract your dream relationship, but also heal, it's time for you to apply to work with me, because I want to be honest and see if you're a good fit. Similar to Donna, she started working with me. She was attracting the wrong relationships, and through working together, she attracted her dream relationship. Similar to Liz, she was feeling anxious, confused, and emotionally imbalanced. And she started to gain her emotional balance, and she felt confident, and she established a lot of boundaries, understood a lot of things about herself, and now she's in her dream relationship. And I have many, many successful stories, of course. But you have to be a good fit. So if you're watching this right now and you feel like you might be a good fit for this program, go ahead and apply. If you're watching this later as a replay, if you feel like you're a good fit, comment, and I will send you the link to apply. But I'll share it right now anyways, or maybe I'll add it to the title in the description so you can easily access that. So yeah, I'm gonna be talking to a few of you today who are ready to heal. But like I said, I want to be honest, I want to be real, and I want to make a difference. So if you feel like you might be a good fit, book a call, let's talk, and see if you're a good fit for this program. This is my private program, so I need to make sure you're a good fit to work with me. And I honestly, if you know me, I value what I do. I work with integrity, and I put so much effort into this program, and I poured my heart into it. And I know I'm confident I can support you heal, as long as you're willing to do the work and reflect. Like I said, I shared the link. Go ahead and book a call, and I will see if you're a good fit to work with me. I'm being very selective because I want to be honest. I'm gonna just accept 2 clients just because I know that it might not be for everyone. Many people might need to do more healing before enrolling in this program, and that's why I do the calls, to tell you exactly whether it's a good fit for you or not, and we can work together or not. So go ahead, book the call if you think it's a good fit, and I can't wait to support you. Thank you all for being here, and I appreciate you being here. If you have any questions, let me know. And yeah, I will be removing the masterclass in maybe 24 hours. So if you're ready to, if you want to re-watch it, go ahead and do. If you have any questions, message me today. If you need the link to sign up, message me right now. Let's talk. Like I mentioned, so honored to be here, and I can't wait to support you all. Thank you all for watching.